You're watching Metallica Mania, and I'm your host, CJ. And welcome back to another album ranking because yeah, as you can see the title, it is a very special album ranking. It is the number one in the series, Metallica, the re-ranking of Metallica, the long-awaited re-rank. I've been putting this one off to their new album, but who the hell knows when their new album's coming out? I'm just gonna do it right. I'm just gonna do it now, and when the new album comes out, I'll just put in the comment section of where it would fall, because I'm not gonna wait for the new record because it could be next year, it could be this year, it could be like 3 years down the road. You never know when Metallica's gonna release. So, backstory: 10 studio albums. Uh, yeah, let's just go into it. Number 10, basically everybody's least favorite, Saint Anger. Of course. I think on the original list I did back in 2019 or 2018, I had this one a little bit higher, but yeah, that's changed. My bottom two have kind of swapped around, but yeah, it still gets an 8.6 out of 10. It's still quite decent. It's average for a band, basically an average album for a metal band. Um, the only song that I really don't like is Dirty Window. Honestly, the only song that's quite bad. What is another one? The Unnamed Feeling is kind of okay as well. Yeah, the whole trash can sound that they say that the drums sound like trash cans. Yeah, it kind of sounds like that, but it sounds like that, and yeah, it just gives the album character. Honestly, you either like it or you hate it. There's no other way to explain it. There's some really good songs on here, like Saint Anger, Some Kind of Monster, Sweet Amber, All Within My Hands, probably the best song on there. And yeah, just the worst Metallica record, honestly. The worst album that they've ever done. Number 9 is 8.7, comes in with Load or Reload, the basic over. Yeah, basically the leftover songs from the previous album Load and just a few more hits. Um, this album had a lot more hits than Load did, but yeah, some of the songs are just abysmal on this record. Songs like Low Man's Lyrics, it's like a 9 minute ballad, and it's just so damn annoying. I think it's 9 minutes, but it's just too long and just stays around for far too long. Bad Seed, another one that I really do not like on this album. Bad Seed, Slither. I don't like this song either. Songs like Devil's Dance, Memory Remains in Fuel being like two of their biggest hits from this era. Attitude's like one of my favorite Metallica songs, and it falls on this album, which is kind of bad. But the Unforgiven 2, another highlight of this album, is an Unforgiven song. The Unforgiven series is really good. Uh, Where the Wild Things Are is kind of like a really cool song as well. There's some cool songs, there's some bad songs, and there's some like okay songs, some hits. But yeah, basically that's what Reload is. It's basically a mixed bag when it comes to Metallica. Number 8, none of the songs are bad on this album. Just the production is absolutely appalling and just ear grating as shit. And you already know which album that is, and that is Death Magnetic at number 8 with an 8.8. Basically, it's hard to get through this album because it's just so ear grating. Like, depending on where you're listening to it, streaming services, they basically clean the album up. But if you pick up a CD of this album, it is pretty fucking bad. Like, it, yeah, if Saint Anger was, if the guitars are bumped up to the point where they actually hurt your ears when you can't even hear the vocals, yeah, yeah, this album has some really bad production to it. But there's some songs that are pretty good. All Nightmare Long, Cyanide, The End of the Line, that was just your life. Some really good songs in here. The Unforgiven 3, another Unforgiven song. The Judas Kiss, Suicide and Redemption is basically an instrumental that's just far too damn long. Um, My Apocalypse, and it was produced by Rick Rubin. This, I think, the same guy that produced a lot of the Slayer stuff. That, yeah, the same issue comes up with the Slayer stuff sometimes. Like World Painted Blood, I think he was on that album, and it really that production on that album's appalling too. But yeah, this album I hardly ever go back to because it's just so hard to listen to. Number 7 is a 9 out of 10, which is the Black Album. Yep, the Black Album is this low. I'm sorry for everybody that expected this album to be a little bit higher, but the only thing that brings it down is Enter Sandman. I do not ever want to listen to that song ever again. It's played on the radio to the point where I don't like it. Songs say Sad But True, Holier Than Thou, The Unforgiven, the first Unforgiven, the classic Unforgiven. Wherever I May Roam, Don't Tread on Me, absolutely amazing song there. Through the Never, Through the Never is a very under fucking rated track, and you need to check that one out. Nothing Else Matters, Of Wolf and Man, The God That Failed, My Friend of Misery, and The Struggle Within. Those last 4 songs are so damn underrated and fall under the radar so much that they're basically like a fresh listen whenever you listen to them because they're never played on the radios. The other, there's 7 songs on this album that is played on the radio, but only the one is annoying because it's over fucking played, and that's Enter Sandman. This is when they basically sold out, but they basically did a great record. It's still pretty heavy to the standards. And we go to number 6, the first perfect album, which is Hardwired. Hardwired from 2016. We waited almost 8 fucking years for this record. We're waiting 8 fucking years again for the next one. All momentum that was built by this album was fucking killed by the time that they're going to be releasing another one. And yeah, that's what happens. Honestly, when bands do that, their next album is usually really bad, but hopefully that's not the case. And this album was kind of like a miracle record, honestly. Basically, the whole scene was losing faith in if Metallica can hit us with some good thrash metal, because the last attempt was hindered by really bad production. But this one had some really good stuff on it. This one has some really good stuff on it. There's the back half of the album is kind of very iffy for like quality. Like the songs are like perfect in that sense, but they're not as good as the rest of the songs on the first half. Let's look at the first half. Hardwired, Atlas Rise, Now That We're Dead, Moth into Flame, Dream No More, and Halo on Fire. A really long ass song that they pulled off. Yeah. And then you have stuff on the other half: Confusion, Man Unkind, Here Comes Revenge, Am I Savage, Murder One, and Spit Out the Bone. Yeah. The other half of the album is not as strong as the first half, but that's what kind of brings it down from like being higher on the list from like the classic albums. I consider the classic albums, and one other album you probably have already realized that I haven't said yet, and no, I did not forget it. And yeah. Favorite ones for this album: Murder One, Atlas Rise, Now That We're Dead, Moth into Flame. And another thing about this album, they slow down the riffs, and they have some kind of like slow down breakdown parts, which is kind of reminiscent of hardcore metalcore. But yeah, they kind of throw that in there, and I kind of pick up some groove in there too, some like groove metal parts too. Number 5, one that people are going to be mad about this one being this high, Load. Honestly, Load, perfect. It's there's a lot of people that are gonna disagree with Load being like better than Reload, but it's way better than Reload. Honestly, songs like Ain't My Bitch, 2x4, The House Jack Built, absolutely great. That like wah pedal that he uses on half of this album. Oh man, Until It Sleeps, another great song. King Nothing, Hero of the Day, Bleed Me, Cure, Poor Twisted Me, Wasting My Hate, Mama Said, Thorn Within being an absolute banger of a track. Ronnie and the Outlaw Torn. This album is basically hard rock when they put the eyeliner on and cut their hair, and completely went from metal to sell out completely, but still could make a pretty heavy fucking record that's not E standard that they were doing before, but they did on like Sabbath True. That's D standard. That's the D tuning. Um, Drop D for the thing that should not be. They basically did that beforehand, but everybody was accusing them of selling out because they dropped their tuning. But in reality, they already fucking did on some of the thrash songs that they did previously. And it's just funny to hear people bitch about it. But yeah, Load, give this another listen. I know a lot of people shit on this album, but it's well deserving of its praise for myself. So yeah, number 4, very controversial pick for number 4 because it's usually people's favorite thing. And the reason why I made this video was because of how popular Metallica has gotten out of Stranger Things. So I hopefully pick up some of that traffic from that. And Master of Puppets at number 4. I gotta put Master of Puppets at number 4. Yeah. Yeah, I have absolutely no fucking reason other than that the other 3 albums above it just have better songs, honestly. Some of my favorite Metallica songs are on this album, like Disposable Heroes and Leopard Messiah. Like those 2 songs are absolutely great. Battery, Master of Puppets, the thing that should not be, aka the Downtooth song that everybody doesn't realize it is downtuned when they bitch about their later shit. Um, Welcome Home Sanitarium, another great song. Basically, this album's perfect, but the other albums are way better. And yeah, the production is like really bassy and yeah. Orion instrumental, the whole joke about like, oh, a vocal cover of Orion. Like, if you've ever seen that YouTube video that's gotten a million fucking views about the person that decided to do a vocal cover of Orion and just sit there for 9 minutes. Just sit there staring at the screen with a microphone, just sitting there and just not talking, not doing anything because it's a vocal cover of Orion and Orion has no vocals. Oh, man. Damage Inc. Another great song. Damage Inc. Very underrated song for a closer. Like a send off. But yeah. Number 3 is Kill 'Em All, their first album. And the Raw album, the Bad Production album, that is actually good with the bad production because it was time period stuff they used to record it. Not the other one that they had, Death Magnetic, that was just plain botched, almost plain botched. But songs like Hit the Lights, Four Horsemen, and then there's another joke that it says Mustaine. Dave wrote them all. Dave wrote them all or some shit. I've seen that meme flying around too. The Four Horsemen, Motor Breath, Jump in the Fire, Amnesia, Pulling Teeth, the absolute great bass track from Cliff Burton that is absolutely amazing and you guys should listen to it. And yeah. Whiplash, Phantom Lord being an amazing song as well. No Remorse, Seek and Destroy, and Metal Militia. Basically the first thrash album. I've said before that this isn't the first thrash album. I kind of realized it was because I was being an idiot before that. It's like basically I consider this a long time to be speed metal, but I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Re-listening to this, it does have some really thrashy parts to it. Songs like The Four Horsemen. The Four Horsemen appears on Megadeth. The same riff, the same song structure appears on Megadeth, but just sped up. So, Hit the Lights, just classic shit. Honestly, Seek and Destroy, classic stuff. You're gonna see them play live if you ever see them live. Yeah, good time period production and everything. And here's another joke about the next one that I have, which is number two's just for all. And I already leaked it by the start of the video by wearing the shirt that I'm wearing, but yeah. The joke is that when Newstead joined the band, they decided to lower his bass to the point where it can't be heard. And yeah, this album has absolutely. This album, a lot of people say they could hear the bass. Yeah, the bass is so goddamn low that you could hardly fucking hear it. Like, my god. The guitar tone on this album is absolutely insane. Like, it's one of the best thrash guitar tones I've heard on an album ever. Like, and it fits with the songs. Like Blacken, that whole riff they do with Blacken, the guitars just absolutely fit with the bass being so low. It's just the guitars actually just feed the whole song, and it's just amazing to see that they actually pulled something off like that. Injustice for All, another that's actually almost a 10-minute song, which is insane and fun. Like, Injustice for All is one of my favorite songs from Metallica ever. Eye of the Beholder, one, The Shortest Straw, Harvester of Sorrow, The Frayed Ends of Sanity. Like, Shortest Straw, Harvester, and Frayed Ends are like three of my all-time favorite songs from this album. To Live Is to Die and Dyer's Eve. Dyer's Eve is just that fast, crazy riff that they have going on there. Yeah, basically, if you ever tried to play guitar over the years, you probably tried to play some stuff off this album, or tried to play anything off of the other Metallica albums, but yeah. And it brings us to number one, Ride the Lightning, the one that I have on my shirt, because, yeah. All-time best, one of my favorite albums of all time. The tone is absolutely amazing. If you can't tell, I'm having stigma with my eyes with like camera screen and stuff, but yeah, I'm just gonna fight through it. But Fight Fire with Fire, Ride the Lightning, that crazy ass solo they do, the tapping solo is just majestic as fuck. Honestly, this album is majestic as fuck with the guitar tone. Oh my god, that fucking guitar tone that they have on this album is just absolutely fucking superb. For Whom the Bell Tolls just hits like absolute thunder. It's just like absolute thunder when it hits you. Fade to Black, Fade to Black, Fade to Black is one of the all-time best songs ever fucking written. Don't argue with me. It's the best song ever written. Fade to Black is the all-time favorite song of all time. Like, Trapped Under Ice, Escape. Please play this song live. I want to see this song live. Metallica, please. We're going to bug the shit out of you until you decide to play this song live again. And yeah, if you have to play this album in full, fine by me. I'd like to see it. Creeping Death and Call of Cthulhu. Just Call of Cthulhu is just an absolute majestic monster of a song. It's just so majestic to end the album. And talk about Creeping Death. Just the vocals and the guitar tone and everything just makes this album just majestic to listen to. Every single second of this album is perfect and nothing is bad on it. I know Metallica bashes the song Escape all the time, but it just, even that song has that production quality to it. And it has just that majestic sound that they got going on with the guitar tone. Yeah, it's just, it's like, yeah, if any album was absolutely perfect from front to back, it would be Ride the Lightning. So, that's how I rank Metallica. I hope you guys liked it. It's kind of weird to revisit a band that I haven't revisited in years on this channel, and the absolute first ranking that I've done on this channel. yeah, way back in the day when I really sucked at doing this. So I really do like that I got back to doing this ranking on this band, Metallica. It's basically in the name of my channel because, well, I was a huge, I still am a huge Metallica fan, and am waiting for the new record and not keeping my hopes up that it will have the same momentum that Hardwired had at the time, because Hardwired was a lightning in the bottle situation, honestly. But yeah, hope you guys liked it, and I will see you guys in the next video. And if you're coming here from Stranger Things, check out some other stuff in the metal scene. You'll like it, honestly. So, stay metal, guys, and I will see you guys in the next video.